You know what they say, good things come to those who wait. The Spro is cold.
Go!
Today is Friday, June 11th, and this is Headers and Footers, the brand new Euro 2020 podcast from the Toronto Star. My name is Brendan Dunlop, and each night after the big matches, I'll break down the games and speak with some of the most entertaining soccer minds around. Roberto Mancini applauded for being one of the best coaching minds in the game, and he looked like a genius after leading Italy to a 3-0 victory in the Euro 2020 opener in Rome. Turkey really didn't come to play. In a lot of people's eyes, they're the strongest dark horse in the tournament. But Turkish backers will have some pretty dark thoughts after that opening match against the Azzurri. A 3-0 victory that sees Italy extend its unbeaten run to 28 matches. Their all-time record is 30, and that was set in the 1930s. Arrivederci Catenaccio, buongiorno goals. Very happy to be joined again on the first official match night version of Headers and Footers by the Star's Laura Armstrong. Well, that was the cracker we were all expecting, wasn't it?
I feel so bad. I feel like we led people astray in our conversations leading up to this, because I feel like maybe not that we weren't expecting Italy to be good, but we were expecting more of a game from Turkey. Like, we thought that was a very much a dark horse in this competition. And I think they let us down. I'm not going to say we let us down. I'm going to say Turkey let us down in that opening game.
There's a new headline for the Star. Laura Armstrong driving the Turkey dark horse hype train down a dangerous, dangerous road. Turkey do have a lot of work to do. But let's just start with the day as a whole, because, I mean, I just thought there were a lot of missed opportunities in that match, but the biggest missed opportunity was at the start of the match when it was not an Alfa Romeo remote control car that ran the match ball out to the official there. I mean, what a great spot for Volkswagen.
What a car. Who came up with that? I want to know where that idea was born, because in some ways that was the most fascinating part of this game.
Well, I had suspected that Jefferson Soteldo was driving it, so I've not seen him since. So
the concern for me is, like, if they continue doing that, who is driving that car? What if you have an allegiance to a specific team? Do you drive it into the striker and the other team's legs? Like, I don't know. I think it's possible.
I know that a lot of Italian fans were nervous heading into this tournament. We've talked about it, and you and I have differing opinions on this Italian side, but I knew they were going to have a good day when Andrea Bocelli took the mic on the pitch, because the last time Andrea Bocelli sang on a field, or I should say a pre-match serenading, sounded that good, Andrea Bocelli was singing for Leicester City's Premier League championship win. So I knew the Italians were off to a good start.
I did not know that he had such a strong record. That's very impressive. I mean, Andrea Bocelli, so I get it. But yeah, no, it was it was a great day. I think that today was a great day, and I think that you could feel it even in Toronto. I mean, I know that we're here in Toronto, we're opening up a little bit, so that's a great day. You see some patios on the streets and stuff like that. But, I wrote in a story today for the Star about how I think that the Euros are just sort of an opportunity for us to all sort of start to get back together a little bit. We're taking sort of baby steps here, but I think that this city really comes alive during Euro time, during World Cup time. And I think that there's a little bit almost of romance, the fact that the city is opening up the day that Euros are starting. So I think that, hopefully it's going to be a great month. We're all going to stay safe and healthy, but get to be together a little bit more. And I think the city's really going to be electric as this tournament goes on.
I say it all the time, and I always said it when I traveled, that Toronto is the best place in the world. If you can't be at the matches, Toronto is the best place in the world to take in the Euros or to take in a World Cup, because you can get a taste of everything. It really is special. So the timing does seem perfect that things are opening up, at least in Ontario. And the timing really seemed perfect for Italy, because I think that Roberto Mancini, who's clearly obsessed with possession, and they held a lot of it and weren't able to really do anything with it in the first half. But we just saw how deadly kind of Italy became after the own goal. It was almost if it truly lit a spark. And I think this is a team, obviously, that doesn't score many goals. This is the first time they've scored 3 goals at a European championship. But I think this is a team that might actually really rack up the scoring.
Yeah, I think probably maybe at halftime, Italy fans were thinking to myself, oh no, thinking to themselves, like, is this the same Italy we've always known? Is this the same Italy that, is expecting those 1-0 wins and is going to have to rely on our defense? And they don't want to necessarily have to rely on this back line, right? So I think that at halftime, maybe you're scratching your head. Certainly there's, shouts for a penalty that people are maybe a little bit, up in arms about. But I think that even a guy like Domenico Berardi, I mean, he had some opportunities in the first half and they just weren't going his way. And it really did sort of feel like that own goal broke that barrier down. And suddenly they got that little bounce of luck that gave Italy the momentum. And even from that moment, I kind of felt like, given what Turkey had done to that point, there was just no chance of them coming back.
I think the only person that enjoyed that match more than actual Azzurri supporters would be Jose Mourinho, who's just taken over Roma, who have Spinazzola, who was incredible spinning the ball and running about on the pitch there. I really was impressed with Spinazzola, and a lot of talk about him having such a big impact for this team. He could be one of the most impactful players at this tournament.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. And I think that you saw that potential from, a number of players on that Italian team. And I think that even, Immobile, he's not maybe your typical center forward. He's not your typical target man necessarily. He's not that big, but I think you saw him grow in the match. You saw a few players grow in the match, which I think was really important for Italy. This is going to be a really interesting team to watch because I think Serie A offense know these players inside and out, but because they don't have that big star, they're certainly going to be names that we're going to get to know. And that's going to be really interesting for sort of neutral soccer fans, I think.
I tweeted that during the match that if Sassuolo doesn't usually make its way into your weekend soccer scheduling, watching Berardi in this tournament, fans are going to enjoy across the board. So Turkey then, what do they do? Because we know that they have some dangerous pieces, and you look at the first goal of the tournament being scored by a Juventus defender. It just happened to be on the other team. I thought that Demiral and Soyuncu looked pretty broken, especially in the first half. It seemed as though Italy was really giving them trouble without really upping the tempo. Italy hadn't really put their foot on the gas. You saw in the second half that Turkey were just kind of in shambles.
Yeah, I mean, there was one play, and I don't know which Turkey defender it was, but it was the 76th minute of the opening match of Euro, and he's banging his arms on the ground. He's so frustrated. And it's that shouldn't be the case. But frankly, I think that the frustration from Turkey is all from Turkey. They played far too negatively. I mean, they're all sitting behind the ball. That is not a team. You can't wait for the counterattack. At some point, you have to spark something. And I feel like Turkey just let Italy come at them. And I feel like they've put themselves in a position where maybe going into this tournament, you thought this is the obvious second place team. And of course, we haven't seen Wales and Switzerland play to date, but you thought maybe they could get a result or something close to a result that would at least give them some good momentum going into the next game. But I think that they're going to have to completely overhaul their tactics going into game 2, which is a really incredibly difficult thing to do when you're at a European championship and the turnaround time is so little.
I was surprised just to see Yazici and Burak Yilmaz in the same lineup. I wasn't anticipating them to, especially against Italy. I just wasn't anticipating that. I thought that they would go full throttle then with that attacking intention, but it wasn't the case. So we will see how the rest of the group plays out, which is a great transition to look ahead to Saturday, the first three match triple header day of the Euros, which is always great at a tournament. So let's start with Wales and Switzerland, which is the early match. Gareth Bale and Xherdan Shaqiri are two stars that have carried their nations at tournaments and in qualifying campaigns, but both are coming off of poor seasons in the Premier League. So what do you see here between Wales and Switzerland?
Yeah, this is going to be a really interesting game. And I think particularly more interesting after what we saw today, right? After we saw that Turkey just sort of fell by the wayside really to Italy, that, the next game, somebody has the opportunity to step up here. And I think that for me, that does slightly go to Gareth Bale just because he has more time, he has more playing time. And I also think that the cast of characters around him is probably a little bit stronger as long as they don't become too reliant on Gareth Bale doing everything. But I certainly think that it's going to be maybe a little bit more exciting actually than this game. I don't necessarily know that either of those teams are really prized for their defending, right? I mean, maybe Switzerland a little bit more than Wales, but I think that, you could be, I don't know. I'm predicting full throttle and I'm second guessing myself because that's what I was thinking that was going to happen today. But I definitely think that having watched the game today and seeing how strong Italy was against Turkey, neither of these teams are going to want to have to get a result against Italy. So I think the question will be who's going to step up. And I would put that with Bale. But as you said, these are two players that are coming off very big struggles in their club team. And who knows, if they're going to be able to step up the way they need to.
In reading between the lines, I heard take the over. That's what I heard.
Sure.
Well, Denmark are another dark horse that have got a lot of attention, but you seem quite keen on Finland. What are we going to see from the Finns in their opener?
I do like this Finnish team, and I don't know why. I just think that because they've played together for so long and they have such a solid core, that not necessarily a team that's going to like delight you offensively, maybe a team that you might be a little bit more frustrated watching than anything. But I think when you're coming into a tournament as a newbie for the first time, that's all you really want to do, right? You want to take points off of other teams. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see how the Finns do. They have a very cohesive core. And that's something that I don't think that we've seen in a lot of teams in this tournament. I think that they've been playing together since I believe like 2009 or something like that, from the U21 level up. So I think that if a team like Denmark underestimates a team like Finland, they'll be in trouble, because Finland is going to be very organized, and that's going to be very difficult to break down.
And when Norwich are in the Premier League, Teemu Pukki has often been a hot selection for fantasy players, and I would love to see if that's actually been the case in this tournament as well. Could be a dark horse for top goal scorer in the group. Belgium have some real issues, as we've discussed. News breaking before Italy and Turkey kicked off that Kevin De Bruyne would not start for their opener against Russia. But I didn't see him factoring into this match to begin with, and I don't think that he'll really factor into this tournament, to be honest.
Oh, that's bold. That is very bold, Brendan. I don't think he's going
to. So are his injuries. So is what he's dealing with. A fractured nose and orbital bone.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that he is the kind of guy who's going to like put a mask on his face, and he's going to play at some point in this tournament. I mean, it's going to depend on Belgium. And I think that this start for Belgium is basically exactly what they want. I mean, you're starting against a Russia team that I think that you should be able to beat without Kevin De Bruyne. So I think that that's important. And if Belgium don't go through this game, even without one of their star players, and win this game, then we have far more significant Belgium problems than one might have thought. Now, you and I have a little bit of differing opinion on Belgium too, so it'll be super interesting to see how that goes. But I certainly think that, if Belgium has dropped to a level that they can't beat Russia without Kevin De Bruyne, then I think that they certainly don't deserve to be the number one ranked team in the world. And they definitely don't deserve to be a team that people think are going to go far in this tournament.
Well, the next time I have you on Headers and Footers, we can talk about who's right with Belgium.
Sounds good.